Hello everyone, welcome to the Testing Trainer YouTube channel. In this session, we are going to discuss different types of test executions, or we can say this as different types of testing. Now, so far we have seen different test design techniques, how to design the test cases and what techniques we can use to design the test cases. Okay, and then we have also seen different levels of testing. In what level we can do the testing? We can do some code. We can write some tests for the code in unit testing level, and then we can do it in a component testing level, system testing level, and system integration level. Now that is the levels of testing. So now, what is this different types of test executions are? There are, in this session, we're going to discuss four major types of testing. Okay, execution types. Okay, first one is smoke testing and regression testing, exploratory testing, and checklist based testing. Okay, these are all other types of testing apart from the formal testing which you're going to do. Now, if you have to understand, okay, if I need to seriously teach properly, and if you need to correctly understand this, we have to do a role play. Okay, now the role play is I am your test manager. Okay, I'm the manager, and you are a tester. Okay, now think about the situation, and then we can go to this topic. Now, the you are a tester and you're working in my project for so and so years. Okay, now we have a system, we have a system ready. Think about it, a e-commerce website. Okay, you're going to test the release 1, release 2, the initial releases. I think it's an agile environment, so that it's going to be an iterative. So first iteration, second iteration is all completed. You have a partial product. For example, login screen is ready, home page is ready, adding an viewing an item is ready. Now in this release, we are going to add a new functionality called add item into cart. Okay, when you have to buy an item, you have to search for the item and you need to click add item to cart so that you can add that item into cart and you can purchase it. It's a basic functionality of e-commerce. Now this has been implemented in this release. Now I'm asking you to test. Okay, how will you test it? So far what we have discussed, that we have lots of techniques like boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, so many techniques are there. But before that, there are other testing types which you can use here. Okay, now keep yourself in that situation. You are a tester, you have this release, and I repeat again carefully, login page, home page, and searching, and then viewing the product. Those functionalities are developed already. Now in this release, we are going to add a new functionality called add item into cart. That's it. Now the system is ready for testing. Okay, you got the code to test it. You got the system ready to test. Now, what are all the things you can do? That is what we are going to discuss now. Point number 1, smoke testing. Okay, now we have 4 releases and we have a bit of functionality. Now we are introducing a new functionality. Now, do we need to make sure when we get a build, we call that as a build. Here, when I say as build, that means you are getting the system into your environment. I repeat again, the environment in the sense like if you type a specific URL within your organization, you can be able to view the application. And if it is a web application, you can able to view the web page. Okay, that is environment. Now you got that. If you type that URL, you have a system and you can start testing. Okay, it's all ready. Now keep yourself in the situation. Now we are going to discuss what is smoke testing. Now what is smoke testing is, you have a product to test. Okay, you need to make sure the major functionality, crucial functionality of the application works correctly. Okay, we have four releases already completed successfully. This is the 5th release. You have the new functionality. Now you just launch the app, make sure you are able to log in or go to home page. It's all working. That's it. You're just making sure the critical functionality of the application is working. That is called smoke testing. That is enough for to learn. Okay, now when you actually perform smoke testing, you can learn so many things, but for now you think about it. So suppose you are testing a web application. See, put yourself in the situation which has given to you some critical functionality that could be included in the smoke testing. You can log in and see that is working. Go to the home page, it's all loading well. Navigation between the key pages and basic form submission. Is it all working well? Just do a quick testing before you actually perform the formal testing. Okay, that is called smoke testing. Right? I hope you understand. It's a very simple testing. The key concept is you are going to test the most critical functionalities of the application. That's it. Okay? To make sure why are we what is the benefit and why do we need to do this testing? Okay. Now you received the product. Okay. The new functionality is working very well. It's all working well. But suddenly a critical functionality called you are searching for an item and the item results itself not displaying. That means the critical functionality has been broken. So that's a critical defect. So we need to identify it. We need to immediately report to the developers, right? So that is the reason we are just doing this testing. Okay. So this is smoke testing. Okay. Now think about it. You completed smoke testing. Okay. Good. Now let's put it in a positive note. All the functionalities are working very well. No problem. All the key critical functionalities are working very well. Now what should we do next? Let's now before go to the exploratory testing, there's a general concept. It's like formal testing. Okay, formal testing is nothing but that is the testing which you'll be doing. Okay, that is if you have already performed the test analysis, you will be designing the test cases where if needed you can use the test design techniques like equivalence partitioning, boundary value analysis, decision table, and you can come up with the test cases. You can actually perform the testing. Okay, that is formal testing. Okay, so now you have done the smoke testing, you have done the formal testing. Now what's next? Now regression testing. What is regression testing? Okay, regression testing, let's just keep it like this. Okay, 1 minute. Regression testing is nothing but release 1, 2, 3, 4. It's successful. Now you got release 5. I've already told the scenario in release 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you have the login functionality, homepage functionality, you can search, you can view the product. Okay, and in the recent release which you are going to test, they have given you the functionality of adding an item into the cart, right? Adding an item into the cart. Now release. Now you will be anyhow designing the test cases to test the release 5. Okay, release 5 you'll be testing. But what about release 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Do we need to test it? Now, yes, we need to test it. At the same time, we should not repeat everything, right? If we are doing everything, repeating each and everything, that means it's so much of work as well. Okay, so that's why we will just take the regression scenario. That means we take the key important functionality, we write the regression test cases, and we run the test to make sure because of the release 5 code, which is the new code, the existing code doesn't break. Okay, because of the new code, the existing code doesn't break. So regression testing is a type of software testing performed to ensure the recent code change or modification to the application do not adversely affect existing functionality. The main word is existing functionalities. Okay, now let's see with an example. Now in release 1, you have done login. Okay, now so whatever I have said so far, it's with my word, my mouth, but now you can able to see in a real example so that you can easily understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, search a product, search. Now in release 4, view a product. Okay, this is an e-commerce website. Okay, cool. Now this is, I'll just type as R now to make it simple. Okay, release 1, release 2, release 3, now release 4. But how the system is mapped is, now in release 1, this will be release 1, right? This will be release 1. Okay, you will be only testing this one in the release 1. Now in release 2, you will be testing this together. How you will be testing it? You will be testing these two together in the release 2, right? Now in release 3, this functionality will be developed. The whole box will be developed. In release 4, the whole box, this box will be developed. So that's what agile, right? So they will just start with this one, and they will bring up with another 2. This is release 2, and then they will again start with 3, release 3. Then the whole functionality will include this all 3. So this is release 4. Now in the 5th release, we are going to do the new functionality which I said, which is add item into cart. Add into cart. Okay, this is the R5 release 5. Now the regression testing is nothing but formally what you will do, we will be doing the testing. This is a new functionality, so obviously we'll be doing the testing here, right? In release 5, we will be testing this functionality here, testing. But how about this functionality, this release 4, all this functionality? So we will be writing, for example, 5 test cases for, or maybe 3 test cases for login, 3 for homepage, 3 for search, and 3 for view. So you will be having a total 12 test cases to make sure this 4 functionalities are working. You'll be writing a 12 test cases, 3 each. It doesn't need to be 3 each. I'm just giving an example. And then you're making sure what are the changes we have done up to release 4. It's working well. Then now that testing is called regression testing. So we are making sure the new functionality which is add into cart we introduced in the release 5 doesn't adversely affect this 4 functionality which we developed until R5. Okay, this is called regression testing. I hope this you get a better understanding. I will read the definition and see. Regression testing is a type of software testing performed to ensure that recent code changes or modification to application do not adversely affect the existing functionalities. Okay, that is what all about. The main intention is to make sure the new functionality we introduced didn't break the existing code. Okay, that's the main logic. And mostly I'm saying the 12 test cases, the 12 test cases will be automated through automation testing. Okay, because every time if we keep on doing the testing for this, it will be expensive. So that's where automation helps us. Okay, but we're not going to cover anything related to automation in this session. Okay, but we will be doing it in a future session. Right, now this is regression testing. Okay, now you got the add into cart new functionality. You did a smoke test first. Okay, you did a smoke test, and it worked well. No issues you found. Second, you did a formal testing using all the techniques and everything. That is, this is one way we can do. And then third, we can do a regression test to make sure the existing functionality from R1, R2, R3, R4, release 4, this functionality is working well. It's working very well. At the same time, there is no issues. Okay, so this is a one way of testing. So far we have covered 2 different types of testing. It's just smoke testing. Also we covered formal testing and regression testing. Now there are other 2 ways of testing. Okay, now instead of these other 2 will be come in a formal testing which we do. It's just an usual way. Okay, now usual way of designing the test cases, using the techniques, analyze, design, write the test cases, and then execute the test case, the formal test. Now, instead of doing the formal test, there is another technique. It's called exploratory testing. Okay, exploratory testing. Exploratory testing. What is exploratory testing? Is approach to software testing that emphasizes learning, investigation, and discovery. So, unlike the traditional scripted testing method, which is said as a formal testing technique, exploratory testing relies on testers' intuition, creativity, domain knowledge to explore the software application, uncover the defects, and evaluate its behavior in real time. Okay, so nothing but instead of see what instead if we need to test it, okay, how we will do it. Just remember the software testing lifecycle. We will analyzing, design the test, design and then execute, right? So instead of doing that, testers will be testing, keeping with domain experience. For example, if I already worked in the e-commerce domain for 3 years, and then I move to another project that is also e-commerce, and I already have a knowledge of e-commerce. And if I have worked in specific tools regarding about the e-commerce and I have that experience as well. If you have worked in a Salesforce, then you have the Salesforce domain knowledge, so technical knowledge, domain knowledge. Keeping all that experiences on mind, you can instead of using the design techniques or writing the test cases, you can directly take the application and you can just do some scenarios, whatever you feel. For example, you feel like add item and record with the different items, different scenarios you can do on the fly using the exploratory approach. So that type of testing is called exploratory testing. Okay, I give this one. This gives testers the main point is testers the freedom to design and execute tests dynamically based on their observation, experiences, and insight. Because with this insights, experiences, and observation, he can perform execute the test dynamically. So you don't need to do any of this analysis or test design. Just go directly, launch the application, directly do it. Okay. Now this is what exploratory testing is all about. Okay. Let's move to checklist testing. So now again I'm saying this is so we have seen this area. So we can do like this as well. Smooth test. Instead of formal testing, you can do exploratory test. This is also a different approach. Okay. Third test, you can do a regression test. You can follow this order. You can do the testing. So that see, at the end of the day, all three is making sure major critical functionality is working fine in the smoke test. New functionality is working very well in the formal test. Existing functionality, all this existing functionality which is already developed, tested and worked well, those functionality is working well in regression test. Okay, similarly instead of formal test, you can perform exploratory test. Like how we are doing exploratory testing, there is another type of testing called checklist based testing. Okay, so this is nothing but similar to what we are seeing here. Instead of that, this is also a dynamic testing technique. Okay, checklist based testing is also a structured but it's a structured approach to software testing that involves using the predefined checklist guide the testing process, ensure the coverage of important aspects. See, the difference between the usual testing and the checklist based testing is we are not going to sit lots of time to design and all those things. Instead, we are going to have a we are going to come up with a checklist, okay, kind of a high level scenario, okay, write the specific conditions, requirements, and then check it and write a high level checklist, row like in a table checklist, and then you can write one by one, and then you can just execute the test. To give a certain example, for example, like first one, verify the valid login date. Verify the valid login. Verify second test. Verify invalid login. Verify login with empty values. So like this, you will be writing a checklist. Okay, and then at the end of the day, you need to check checklist whether this pass, fail, pass, fail, pass, fail. That's it. Okay, so this is, but the difference between exploratory and this is it's a kind of both. It's not completely a formal traditional approach. but it's a kind of a structured approach. It follows a specific structure, like give some guidelines on how to do it as well. Okay, so now this is checklist based testing. So now we have seen four testing. What is smoke testing? So again, before wrapping up these testing types, I'm just giving a high level summary. Smoke testing. What is smoke testing? Smoke testing is nothing but you see. I would like to reiterate the scenario, like you are a tester and the test manager. The current application we have developed a login, homepage, search and view in last few months. It's all tested, developed, and it's all working well. And then we are next stage. We are next release. We are developing another functionality called add into cart. Now that came into testing. You have to test it. I'm the manager. I'm saying you have to test it. Now we can follow different set of tests to perform. Okay, so that in that scenario, what are the different types of testing we can do it? Out of that, the first type, one of the important type is smoke testing. The main aspect of smoke testing is to make sure critical features of the application work. That's it. That's what we have to know. Example: login, homepage, navigation between the key pages, and basic form submission. That is smoke testing. Second, I go to regression testing. Now in the regression testing, now in the smoke testing, we make sure the critical functionality, general critical functionality of the application works. Now in regression testing, we need to make sure all the existing functionalities are working fine. Because of the new code which we introduce in release 5 should not affect the code in the release 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the release, the code in the all four releases should not be impacted. Example, this is what. So we have this 4 piece of code. Now this new function introduced, because of this new functionality, we have to make sure this is not impacted, and it's called regression testing. Mostly regression testing will be automated, and as I'm saying the general guidelines, it should be automated. Okay, a smart team will automate the regression test so that they work really well. Now next testing is exploratory testing. Now in general, formal testing, formal test approaches to you analyze the requirement, design the test cases, execute it using the test cases. Now there are, it's a exploratory test is a kind of informal technique. Like you don't need to actually write, analyze all this thing. Directly open the application, open the add into, and perform this action and make sure it's all working well. And then you need a bit set of experiences, and in the also we have the good domain knowledge, so that helps to make the do the exploratory testing faster. It's kind of a dynamic test. Test is a kind of a dynamic test type. Okay, you have to perform the testing dynamically. Okay, now that is exploratory testing. Now the last testing we have seen is checklist based testing. So it's a structured approach. Same time, it's not, you don't need to do a lots of sitting, analyze, design, and all those things. But rather than you're going to develop a checklist that outlines the test condition, scenario, criteria that needs to be verified. So what you will do, you will write a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 high level test scenarios and make sure it's all working. It's working, just tick it and then just move to next. Okay, that is checklist based testing. Okay, so I hope session is very helpful. Let's uh, let let's meet in the next session. Thank you.